tempo. So that's where he feels he can make up time, where there is a little bit to be gained, so to speak, by running negative splits. And there is the great man. They call him the Emperor, Haile Gebrselassie. Delightful fellow, very, very relaxed, easy to talk to, obviously fluent in English, enormously charismatic man, and going for his third successive victory here today. That he would be the first man to have achieved that in Berlin if he manages it. He has a host of gold medals from the track, 4 times world champion at 10,000 metres, twice Olympic champion at 10,000 metres, but now that he's moved up to the roads, my word, is he beginning to do some damage at the distances, the most challenging distances as well. He calls this one, the marathon, the king of the distance races. It's the one that he wants so badly, but he felt that the pollution potential in Beijing was sufficient to stop him racing there over 26 miles. He has said, however, that he intends fully to participate in the London 2012 Olympic Games, and he has even said, why not 2016 as well, by when he will be 45 years old, by the way.
Please welcome Mr. Haile Gebrselassie.
And there is the great man being introduced to the crowd. Has had a slight niggle, we understand, a couple of weeks ago. Got some cramps in one of his legs, but he said it was nothing serious. It's fairly normal, he said, when you're putting in the extra mileage for marathon training. And he says, everything in my preparation has been just about perfect. And included in that preparation was a run in the Olympic Games, but over 10,000 metres, his old track distance. He was 6th in the Olympic Games, 10,000 metres. He's not quite got the speed these days to go with the Kenenisa Bekele, the man who did take gold. And there is Irina Mikitenko, the champion from London last April, 2nd in this race last year to get to Wami. And she ran a very, very smart race 12 months ago with a quick second half to move through from 4th to 2nd. Then she improved her time to a new German record on a legitimate course, that is, in London. And she's chasing that time today. And if she wins here today, she will lead the World Marathon Majors points table. The world's 5 of the world's top marathons, biggest marathons, have got together to form a sort of Grand Prix. I'll explain more to you about that scoring system later on, but if she wins here today, Mikitenko could be heading for $500,000 of a payday in about a month's time.
15 seconds.
So, about 10 seconds to go before the elite field get underway. Tense moments.
3, 2, 1, go.
Well, away they go. Haile Gebrselassie smiling as he gets underway. Quite remarkable. The attitude this man has. Loves his training. Says, why retire when you're enjoying it, when you're still good at your sport? Indeed, he's had a friendly swipe at Lance Armstrong in recent days, saying that Armstrong shouldn't have announced a retirement 3 years ago because it was clearly premature. The American 7 times Tour de France winner has come out in recent weeks and said he's making a comeback. Gebrselassie says, well, why bother doing that? It happens all too often. Don't announce a retirement. Don't give yourself a deadline and put pressure on yourself like that. Just enjoy your sport, and if you feel it gradually wilting over a period of time, then filter your way out of the sport, but don't actually put yourself under pressure.
Well, each one of these athletes will be starting their own stopwatches, their personal watches. They will be careful to note on the kilometre markers all the way around exactly what times they are doing. And incidentally, the pacemaker there is Wilson Keegan of Kenya, alongside Haile Gebrselassie. But just to go back to the masses as the elite get underway, these people are running for various challenges. A challenge to bring money for charities, a challenge against themselves and against the clock. Some will never have run a marathon before, and some will learn a great deal about running long distances here. Training is all very well, but once you get into a race and get people alongside you, well, who knows. A couple of pacemakers there. Number 96 is Jonathan Mayo, another Kenyan. There's a whole host of Kenyans there who will be establishing the pace. Gebrselassie Gebrselassie right in the middle of that group. They'll set the pace for him. He's protected, and that's how it will develop as they go along. Now, we don't expect Gebrselassie to be close to many of these athletes, Tim, for very much longer, really, because of the paces. If he's going to break his world record, he's got to be looking at 2:57 for each kilometre, and of course we'll bring you up to date with those times. But look at this, wonderful scenes, isn't it? Look at this, the stopwatches all clicking. There is an official timing, of course. They'll all have the chips on and they'll all have an official time, but it's always nice to know where you are at a various point, whether you're going faster or slower than when you were in training. And sometimes it's difficult to get out of the way of people here. You're slowed down and you get worried and you think, oh well, let's just go with it and not worry about the pace. But they are spreading out, aren't they, already?
They are indeed, yes. That's the Siegersäule, just a few hundred yards down the course on the 17th of June Strasse. They, as you can see, go both sides of it. These athletes, of course, now a long, long way behind Haile Gebrselassie and the leaders, who have been running for 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes. That means they'll have gone ploughing through the half-mile point, through the first kilometre. And last year, Gebrselassie churned out kilometres of around 2:57, as Stuart said, as an average. But he did run his first half quite conservatively by his own standards. He went through halfway in 62 minutes 29 seconds, then accelerated through the second half. He will be very, very relaxed here, Haile Gebrselassie, quite comfortable, needs to remain that way. These pacemakers will, rather like a lunar rocket, gradually drop away in different stages until at around 30 kilometres he should be left on his own. That's what happened last year when the race unfolded 12 months ago, and it was absolutely perfect. He had two pacemakers, Wandimu of Ethiopia and Rogers Rop of Kenya, very high calibre pacemakers, with him until 30 kilometres, and then he actually